and blue clinched the ICC trophy at Barbados. With Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and Ravindra Jadeja calling it quits from the T20 international format and the entire team resting after a hectic World Cup campaign, it was time for the young talent to show their spirited game in the ongoing 5-match T20 series with Zimbabwe. India did not start off well and lost by 13 runs in the series opener yesterday, but as on unexpected lines. This prompted a sharp reaction from Congress's Shashi Tharoor, who was quick to pin the blame on BCCI. He gave Zimbabwe a thumbs up and labelled BCCI as arrogant. Following this, he said, if the A team of the Indian cricket with all experienced players was resting, the tour should have been postponed. This landed Tharoor in hot soup with the BJP as the Saffron Party saw this as hate for Bharat. Instead of encouraging a young team, many of whom are travelling overseas for an international tournament for the first time, what we heard from the Congress leader was bitterness for the BCCI and an attempt to downplay the effort of the playing 11 in Zimbabwe. But viewers, hours later, the same team has defeated Zimbabwe by 100 runs in the second match of the series. Abhishek Sharma scored 100 off 47 balls as India posted 234 for 2, which Zimbabwe failed to chase. But obviously, the BJP has now used this as fresh ammunition in seeking an apology from Shashi Tharoor. We'll get to those latest reactions in just a bit, but here's what's happened so far.
भारत के हारने पर कांग्रेस ही सेलिब्रेट करने लगे, कहने लगे कि देखो ये तुम्हारा अहंकार खत्म हुआ। मतलब कि भारत हारे इसकी कामना आप करते हैं। मोदी विरोध में या बीजेपी विरोध में आप भारत की उपलब्धियों को कम करना चाहते हैं, भारत को गाली देकर अपमान करना चाहते हैं। यही मानसिकता है।
But here's what's happened today. India's beat Zimbabwe by 100 runs, and this in the second match of the 5-match T20 international series in Zimbabwe. Now, Shashi Tharoor, who's been facing all of these questions and a lot of criticism from the BJP, has taken to social media after India's victory in the second match. He says, and I quote, "Congratulations to the young India team that just thrashed Zimbabwe today by 100 runs, especially Abhishek Sharma, whose century was the third fastest ever scored for India in T20 internationals. Happy they bounced back so quickly from their poor showing yesterday." And then he says, and glad to be trolled for a happy cause. So that's the reaction that's coming from Shashi Tharoor after India's victory in the second match of the 5-match series against Zimbabwe. The BJP, of course, has spoken of today's performance by the men in blue and says Shashi Tharoor must come out and apologize.
जब इंडिया की टीम जिम्बाब्वे के सामने पहला T20 मैच हार गई तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपनी असलियत दिखा दी। मोदी विरोध में उतरते उतरते भारत की टीम के हार का जश्न मनाने लगी, जो शशि थरूर जी का बेहद घृणात्मक ट्वीट आया। मतलब कि मोदी से इतनी नफरत कि देश की उपलब्धियों पर सवाल खड़े कर देना। आज भारत की उसी T20 टीम ने जिम्बाब्वे को बड़ी शिकस्त दी। उसी टीम ने बेहतरीन तरीके से प्ले किया और हरा दिया। अब क्या बोलेंगे शशि थरूर और कांग्रेस वाले? ये वही कांग्रेस पार्टी है और उसका इकोसिस्टम है। जब साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ फाइनल मैच खेल रहे थे तब भी वो हमारी हार की कामना कर रहे थे। भारत से विरोध करते हैं, मोदी विरोध करते करते। आज शशि थरूर जी को सार्वजनिक रूप से सबसे माफी मांगनी चाहिए, खास करके टीम इंडिया से।
Let's quickly open this up with national spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma. Also, lawyer and political analyst Kapil Madan and senior sports journalist Ayaz Memon. My first question, but obvious, is for Kapil Madan. Kapil, how do you respond to this? It's very interesting how Shashi Tharoor has given it a spin. He says, I'm happy that I was trolled for a happy cause, so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that, the manner in which he spoke of the team's performance after winning the World Cup, here's a new team, a young team, like I said in my opener, some of them have not even had these kind of international experiences. So an overseas experience for the first time, and this is what Mr. Tharoor had to say. Now he comes out to congratulate the same team. What's going on?
So, Christine, I'll, look at it, from this perspective. Whenever you are not producing results, of course, you need to do some sort of an introspection so that you can perform better. Now, if you look at, Shashi Tharoor's tweet in the correct context, what he says, the point that he was trying to raise is that there was no reason to send a team which is when your main players are not available. You should have postponed, the tournament, and you should not have sent a team which barely have, international experience. And as a, cricket lover, as someone who understands cricket, as someone who, loves cricket, you can give your constructive feedback. I mean, if you do well, of course, yes, people will praise you. If you don't do well, people can give you...
Are you sure this was constructive feedback only, Kapil? Why did he speak of the 4th of June? Why did he speak of arrogance? Why was he talking about the BCCI? Are you sure it was just that?
So Christine, I would say, I mean, yes, it was a constructive feedback because you yourself said in your opening remark that, the team that has been sent there, most of them had, barely had, international experience. And, at the international platform, your viewers are watching, your fans are watching, your countrymen are watching. And when you go and, play any tournament, the intent is always to win. The intent is always to perform. And, if you look at it from that perspective, you will send your best available people. And if your best available players were not available, that's only one side of, a criticism or a constructive feedback sent by a fan. I don't see any problem in that. Why is even this is a matter of debate?
That's actually sportsman spirit, if you ask me, Kapil, because, we decided to not postpone the tournament or say that India is not willing to participate. We decided to send faces which were relatively fresh, and they have proven themselves in IPL, which is also a T20 format. So there's no problem really in this. But Sanju, quickly come in. Kapil says this is healthy criticism. It should be taken in that manner, and that's what the BJP's failed to do.
Prithvi, first and foremost, many congratulations to you in your new role on a new platform.
Thank you.
I will just put a few points out there for your audience. Mr. Memon is a sports journalist, and I think he knows more about the sport than any of us on the panel. First and foremost, to Mr. Shashi Tharoor, I have to say this. Now in psychology abroad, in many universities in the US and in the Eurozone, they are full-fledgedly teaching a new subject. And guess what is that, Kritsween? And I'm not being sardonic or sarcastic. This is the hard truth. It's called FITM. It's understanding the various nuances of FITM, foot in the mouth. And I think Shashi Tharoor would be a classic case. He suffers from foot in the mouth. And within 24 hours, what a stinging reply was given to Mr. Tharoor, no less, by the men in blue, particularly Rituraj Gaikwad, Abhishek Sharma, and Rinku Singh, by virtue of their stellar performances. But my moot point is this, since this is a political debate, do you recall after India's excellent showing at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, when we had our best showing ever since 1920, when we first participated in the Olympics in Antwerp? I did not see any big Congress leader congratulating the Indian Olympic squad. More recently at the Asian Games in 2023 at China, where we actually scored 107. It was the best showing in Asian Games after 1951 when we participated for the first time. I did not see Rahul Gandhi or Shashi Tharoor or any of their biggies like Mallikarjun Kharge, KC Venugopal, showing the basic decency, decorum or graciousness to congratulate the Indian team. But I do recall after India lost the ICC World Cup last year, there was a hue and cry on social media, and every political handle belonging to the Congress, for whatever it is worth, right from a Jairam Ramesh to a Shashi Tharoor to Rahul Gandhi to Priyanka Vadra, they came hounding, baying for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's blood, saying, "Arey Modi ji panauti hai, isliye to India ICC World Cup haar gayi." But the same people, I want to ask them, now that the Indian team won the T20 World Cup and became only the third team to win this trophy twice, what do you say? अब आप मोदी जी को पनौती बोलेंगे या आप इनको कोई शुभ संकेत का एपिटोम बताएंगे? But I think beyond politics, let's just understand very quickly without being verbose. Kapil Madan can try and spin this, and Shashi Tharoor would actually put Vinu Mankar and Bishan Singh Bedi to shame with the kind of spin he's trying to give now 24 hours later in response to that shameful tweet of his 24 hours back. The fact of the matter is, so clouded are the Congresses by the fact that for the third time running, the Congress has to sit in the opposition benches, and Prime Minister Modi is the first Prime Minister in 62 years to be helming the office of Prime Minister for the third term running. I think this is something that the Congress has been unable to digest, absorb, forget being gracious. They are not even able to come to terms with the fact that the Janta has given a blinding mandate, albeit a reduced one, to BJP at 240 versus the 303 we got last time. I think सारा जो पेट का दर्द है, पेट का उबाल है, it stems from the fact that Congress is still sitting in the opposition benches. And I say shame on Shashi Tharoor. You were sacked in 2010, Mr. Tharoor, when there was a controversy surrounding an IPL franchise and the corruption around it. So I think Shashi Tharoor, you neither have the political ground nor the moral high ground to be giving lectures to the current government or to our men in blue. You certainly don't talk about sportsmanship. Your tweet reeked of pettiness. Your tweet reeked of arrogance. Your tweet reeked of overconfidence in the wrong sense of the term. And your tweet reeked of an anti-national sentiment. Who trolls your own team when they're going through a rough patch? And then he has the audacity to say, oh, I was commenting on every ball. I mean, are you saying if a team loses, you're not going to stand with them in solidarity? You're going to stand with them only if they get the cup home?
Absolutely. This was a time, Kapil, that, Mr. Tharoor should have come out and encouraged this young team. Perhaps they were so irked, by the likes of Shashi Tharoor and the commentary that was witnessed on social media that they had to prove themselves. I mean, why are we mixing politics and cricket? That's what's most unfortunate in all of this. I so wish that this was actually not a political debate to begin with. It really did not need any sort of criticism coming in from Mr. Tharoor as he did. How do you respond to what Sanju is saying? And then I'll quickly take in a word from Mr. Ayaz. He's in the best position to make, to perhaps comment on what really was meant by that kind of a commentary that was pulled off by Shashi Tharoor. Kapil.
So I think, Christine, there are two very important concepts in sports. One is confidence and one is overconfidence. One, you are overconfident, you will portray that you will score, 400 streets and you will, end up getting less than 240 and you will boast about it like, what Sanju did just now on camera. Now, it is absolutely important that you should have confidence. Our people should have confidence. Our players should have confidence. But the fact of the matter remains, if you make mistake and if you go and display overconfidence, and this overconfidence was not aimed at the players. What Shashi Tharoor meant and said was about the management. Players are different and management is different. What BJP is trying to do, which they are, very good at. I mean, they can beat Usain Bolt in this to bring politics in a subject where there exists no politics.
Kapil, you can keep saying that, but it did really come across as him almost gloating over India's loss.
Exactly.
But I'll let Mr. Ayaz come in here. I'll let him come in here and really want to understand what his perspective is on this entire controversy, which has been peddled by Shashi Tharoor. He's come out to congratulate the team, Mr. Ayaz Memon, but do you think this was him taking on the BCCI and not really downplaying the efforts of the men in blue in the first match against Zimbabwe?
Well, I'm a little surprised actually that Shashi jumped the gun. Somebody who follows cricket so closely as he does, and I know he's a cricket fanatic, that you lose one match and you come up with a statement like this when you know that the series is of 5 matches and anything can happen in the next 5 matches. If you had to make a commentary, maybe you should have done it after the series was over. So the point that, you've got a B team going there or a non-India team, so to speak, but an India A team, it may seem well-founded, but when you look at it, there's Ruturaj Gaikwad, there's Washington Sundar. These guys have played for India. They were Rinku Singh. They were part of the Indian team, as Sanju mentioned. And they played for the Indian main team. It's not they played for the India A team or the India junior team. And we've seen today a 100-run victory. So it just turned around. We don't know what the series will holds out now in the remaining 3 matches. But I think that even if you have to score political points, you can't lose track of the fact that sport can be very unpredictable, and it can kind of throw mud in your face if you go wrong. So I think I'm a little surprised that Shashi actually went and said the things that he did after the first match rather than waiting for the series to be played out.
Absolutely. This kind of a commentary after the first match was most shocking. In fact, a flurry of reactions have come into his social media update with a lot of people, in fact, strongly objecting to what he said. But Kapil, the fact that this was the first game, we've seen Shashi Tharoor come out to already question the decision-making capability of the BCCI. There are political undertones to it, and we, can't really sideline that. The BCCI secretary, Jai Shah, with, Mr. Tharoor coming out to say in as many words that this was not a step in the right direction, not the right decision taken by the BCCI. Who gets to decide what? Why is Mr. Tharoor really mixing politics and cricket? That's what I want to come back to again. Why this kind of an attempt? And a shoddy one at that.
No, Christine, let me tell you that, every cricket fan, you go, in this country, even, person standing, any nook and the corner will, give you some opinion about the cricket. At the end of the day, it is an opinion of a cricket fan. Now, today, I may say, X should not open. Virat Kohli should play at number 3. Virat Kohli should play at number 4. Or maybe Rishabh Pant should open. Everyone has an opinion. And, if our players are doing good, people will praise it. And if they're not doing good, in hindsight, they will make some constructive, suggestions.
But then we're setting a wrong precedent,
No.
Kapil.
May I come in, Christine?
Isn't this exactly what we say? When our players, in fact, perform to the best of their capabilities and they bring back a cup, we're all singing and dancing to their victory. And the moment they lose a crucial match, everybody's throwing stones at their houses, abusing the players. That's the wrong precedent. That's exactly what we're not supposed to do.
I need to come
Sanju.
I think
Thank you. Kritsween, Kapil, may I please? Then you can come in. Kritsween, I just have this to say. As you very rightly said, you need to stand with your sportsmen and sportswomen, come what may, come hail or storm, irrespective of whether they are going through highs or lows, because it's natural that you will go through a rough patch. There will be days when you are not giving your best. And if you're trying to run down your sportsmen when they need you the most, then it reeks of a mind that is very petty, as I've said earlier. But more importantly, I have this to say, and I will address the elephant in the room and take the bull by the horns. Because I know that there were two people who were maligned, abused, not just criticized, trolled viciously after India lost the ICC World Cup last year. One was, of course, Narendra Modi, and the other gentleman I'm talking of is Jai Shah. And they said, what is Jai Shah's claim to fame? Has he been a great batsman? Has he been a great bowler? Why was he made a BCCI administrator and given the top job? To them, I have one question to ask. Suresh Kalmari was given life-term presidency of the Indian Olympic Association. Tell me what have been his claims to fame in terms of his sporting achievements, or for that matter, Ashok Gehlot, the former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, his son Vaibhav Gehlot, for the longest time was the head honcho of the Rajasthan Cricket Board. Or for that matter, Rajiv Shukla, who has been for the longest time the head honcho of the IPL. Or for that matter, Sharad Pawar, who was the head for the longest time of the BCCI and the ICC. I don't think Sharad Pawar was a great batsman or a bowler. These are people who are sports enthusiasts, and you need to distinguish and make a distinction between a sports administrator from a sports person. And the very lot which abuse Jai Shah, I want to ask them, do you have the decency and the grace to now congratulate him if you're going to abuse him every time the men in blue miss winning the trophy? Then by virtue of your own logic, you need to congratulate Jai Shah for bringing the T20 World Cup home.
But Sanjay, here's what Kapil is saying. Kapil is saying that, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, in saying what he said, could have just held that opinion as a cricket fan, as a follower. And he should feel free to do so. Also asking the BJP in that sense, what makes this, or rather gives the BJP the right to call this an anti-India stance by the Congress leader?
I just have this to say. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You need to have basic common sense. If you read Shashi Tharoor's tweet of yesterday, his post of yesterday, he just doesn't talk about, Indian team's poor showing on the 6th of July. He talks of June 4th when the results came out, saying both the 4th of June and the 6th of July had brought down arrogance a notch. Thereby meaning that just like Narendra Modi got a reduced mandate on the 4th of June, 6th of July को जिम्बाब्वे ने इंडिया को धो डाला. ये तो अलग बात है. नरेंद्र मोदी is प्रधानमंत्री for the third time running और आज इंडियन टीम ने जिम्बाब्वे को धो डाला. And Shashi Tharoor has had a nice big fat omelette on his face and has had the door slammed into his face by the likes of Abhishek Sharma, by the likes of Rinku Singh, by the likes of Rituraj Gaikwad and the entire team, of course. So I think Shashi Tharoor, being a public figure, cannot hide behind this lame argument. Oh, that was my personal statement. If you are a public figure, you need to be more discreet and choose your words more carefully. As simple as that.
Okay, Mr. Ayaz, does this speak poorly of, the kind of faith you're not placing in a fresh team, in a new team, because there are going to be changes in the T20 team, in the T20 India team, given, like I said, the 3 exits that we're seeing, and they're big exits most certainly. So now that there are going to be changes, might as well encourage the team. Do you think this speaks poorly of, reputed politicians making these kind of remarks in public domain?
Yeah, I think one of the things which this highlights is that it tells us of the abundance of, fantastic talent that is there in Indian cricket. So, even a second string team, if you call it, or a B team, or whatever you want to call it, can still go and beat regular teams. Zimbabwe is not the best opponent, but even so, to go and win a match, we'll have to wait and see if they win the series. I think that's really the crux. The other point which I want to make, and which is, in a sense, obliquely, in a political sense, but otherwise it's about sports, is that talking about sports in the national debate at prime time has come into focus, which is such a great thing, isn't it? I mean, when the team wins or the team loses or who's performing well or which politician is saying what has become, a focus of attention. I think that's really great because it tells you something about where the country is headed, where sports is concerned.
Okay, Kapil, last say to you before I wrap this up. Now, I don't want to use this word inconsequential, but yes, relatively inconsequential, a series or an opponent. If that's the reaction that comes in from Mr. Shashi Tharoor when India is up against Zimbabwe, one is left to wonder how would he or anyone from his party responded if India lost the World Cup. That's what Sanju is also talking about. That's what was seen last year when India lost the ODI Cup.
Now, again, I would,
it's the messaging that's problematic here, Kapil.
No.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
We are a cricket nation. Everyone in the country, I have not seen anyone in the country who doesn't love cricket, who does not follow cricket, who does not have opinion on cricket. In fact, people who don't play themselves, but they will still give, some opinion on cricket because they love the game. Now, coming from that background, if someone has given some constructive feedback, I mean, people can have, their personal liking also. They may like a particular player over any particular
But how is this constructive? Yesterday, Mr. Tharoor concluded that this is an inexperienced team. Today, Abhishek Sharma, who is by his definition quite inexperienced, this was his maiden century in an international format, has scored 100. He's had a significant contribution in the game. So what constructive criticism are we talking about really?
Kapil is barking up the wrong tree.
No. So, please mind your language, Sanju.
No, I'm not going to mind my language. You're barking up the wrong tree. You need to give lessons in decency to Shashi Tharoor. Don't lecture me. You need to give lessons in decorum to your leader, Shashi Tharoor.
The BJP says he must apologize. Kapil, he must apologize. Why lower the morale of the team?
Every time you don't need to show
you're barking up the wrong tree. I repeat, you're barking up the wrong tree. And give lessons in morality, decorum and decency.
Okay, we don't have too much time. I'll let Kapil respond. Sanju, we let him respond.
Kapil. All I would say here is that, I will not degrade myself to the level of Sanju and use that kind of language.
Okay, we're not going to make it personal. We're not going to make it personal. The last 1 minute, let's all wrap up this debate with dignity. We're not going to make it personal, Kapil. Please make your pointed rebuttal.
All I would like to say here is, yes, it is a constructive feedback. Everyone may have a feedback, constructive feedback. You may not agree with those, constructive feedback. I may not agree, but the fact remains, every individual, every cricket lover in our country is entitled to have its opinion on the game, and you should, leave it, and you should leave it at that.
Okay, the team most certainly deserved a break. They would have not returned after a World Cup, a hectic campaign within a week's time. So this was practically impossible. Last 30 seconds to Sanju before I wrap this up.
Kritsveen, what I hate about the Congress, I'm not going to be diplomatic or, try and be discreet now. Rahul Gandhi stands on the floor of the parliament and says all Hindus are violent hinsak. Hindu sirf nafrat phelate hain. He refuses to apologize because Congress thinks offense is the best form of defense is going to work, but unfortunately people can see through the charade. People can see through the facade, and that is exactly what this rabble-rouser and master of whataboutery Kapil Madan is trying to do here. He says, Sanju Verma, mind your tongue. This man does not have the decency to apologize on behalf of Shashi Tharoor's shameful tweet. This is the kind of hypocrisy that the people are fed up of, and that is why Congress has lost general elections for the third time running. Kapil Madan, don't give lecture to me. Shant ho jao, shant ho jao.
Also, besides, I think as a cricketing nation, and I'm gonna end it with this. As a cricketing nation, I think all of us, cricket fans or not, that's the least we owe to our players, right? Good days, bad days, we stand by them, and you win some, you lose some. But this kind of a gesture or this kind of a commentary, for the men who've perhaps stepped on the field, and this is a new experience for them, doesn't speak well of a politician such as Mr. Tharoor. But thank you, gentlemen and Sanju, for joining us this evening. With that, we head into a very short break. Thanks for watching the explosive weekend debate. We also quickly talk about a breaking news update coming in. This is a breaking news update as far as the Mumbai hit and run case is concerned. Mihir Shah's father, Shinde Sena leader Rajesh Shah, has been arrested. Remember, there was already another person, the driver of the BMW, who's been arrested as well. So 2 arrests that have taken place, and that's a big update coming in the Mumbai hit and run case. Rajesh Shah, remember, has been accused of helping his son Mihir Shah escape. Attempts were made to destroy evidence as well. In fact, CNN News 18 has accessed the bill that Mihir Shah and his friends paid at the bar in Juhu. They paid a bill of 18,730 rupees, and this was at 1:15 a.m. on the intervening night. This is the intervening night. Saturday is when this happened. So big news coming in. We've accessed that bill as well. And on your screens are details of that bill. A sum of 18,730 rupees paid by Mihir Shah and his friends close to 1:15 a.m. Let me go across to Yasha, my colleague, joining us with more details. 2 big arrests have taken place, including the Sena leader, whose son is absconding still. Yasha, over to you for the latest details.
Absolutely. In fact, now it is Rajesh Shah who's been arrested. He is, in fact, the Shiv Sena leader that we were speaking about. Apart from him, the driver of the vehicle has also been arrested. Now, in this case, another accused of this case, as Mihir Shah, is absconding in this case. Of course, now, when we draw parallels to the Pune Porsche drunk driving case, it is very similar to how there was tampering of evidences that took place. Apart from that, the main accused in this case, even Mihir Shah, was made to escape, made to run, and which is where Rajesh has been arrested for helping Mihir Shah abscond. But of course, the driver, who was also present in the vehicle when it comes to this hit and run case, has now been arrested. Here, 2 people were charged when it comes to the hit and run case. One was the driver, the other one was Mihir Shah. The driver has been arrested for hit and run. The another accused, that is Mihir Shah, is absconding. Now there are several teams, around 6 teams, that have been formed by Mumbai police to trace him and to get him to books. Both of these people, the driver and Mihir Shah, have been arrested under several sections of Motor Vehicles Act and the IPC new section, that's the Bharatiya Sanhita. All of the there have been 4 to 5 sections of both that have been levied against both of them. Rajesh Shah here, of course, has been arrested for helping Mihir Shah abscond. All of this is a part of the investigation. Apart from that, we also understand that a forensic team had reached Worli police station earlier this evening. They conducted forensics of the vehicle which was the crime vehicle, that is the vehicle used for the accident, and also the scooter which was hit by the vehicle was also checked by the forensic team this evening, and this is a part of the investigation. Further investigation is underway, and both of the accused will be presented before the court tomorrow.
Okay, yes. Investigation underway, but 2 big arrests have taken place. Yasha, many thanks for joining us with the latest. That's all the time we have. Many thanks for tuning into CNN News 18 this evening.